Hello there again and welcome. I'm Ryan Nordahl with Epic Whitetail Habitat LLC. It's a beautiful afternoon here in west central Wisconsin. You can't beat bluebird days like today. Nice white puffy clouds in the sky. Just absolutely gorgeous. We could use a little rain. We're running a little bit short here. Awful dry. But there's some rain in the forecast and we're hopeful and we're grateful for that chance. You know, I'm sitting on the property where my house sits in western Jackson County, eastern Trempealeau County line. I absolutely love this setting. It's a small property. We have less than 20 acres here. About 17 and a half acres is what I own. And I've featured this property on a few of my videos. I've talked about it before in the past. And you know, it's a constant work in progress. Our main focus is going to be here over the summer, over the coming months of this summer, going into the 2021 whitetail hunting season. You know, I bought this property with the intent of doing a lot of improvements on this property. Our Amish neighbor to the south of us rents the pasture ground that's located directly east of my house. It has about 2.5 acres of box elder and cherry in it already, with a few bur oak that exist in it. My intent is to reclaim that back into whitetail habitat. I do believe that I can go in there, hinge cut, and at least attract a couple doe family groups in there, if nothing else, and create other wildlife habitat as well. Maybe get some nesting turkeys in there yet this spring. You know, rabbit cover. I do love to rabbit hunt in the wintertime, in the off season, as many of us like to call it. Those of us who work in the whitetail industry know that there are no days off when it comes to hunting season at all. There's always something to do 365 days a year. But my intent was, when we bought this place in December of 2016, was to create, being that it's a small property, to at least create something where the deer feel comfortable here as they transition between the two hardwood ridges on either side, west or east of this property. They do transition through here. Our best season in the last 4 seasons that we've been on this property have been, or was, in 2019. We had many encounters with plenty of bucks. It was a fun season just to be here. This property gives us another opportunity to hunt, keeping pressure off of our other 2 properties that we hunt. The one being my main proving grounds, and the other being my brother's farm, and in behind my parents' house. That's all one property. I do believe there's close to 200 acres there on that property. The main farm is 160. The property where my parents live, just adjacent to the main farm, is another 40 acres. And it really does hunt small, but yet it hunts bigger because of the habitat improvements we've been making there as well. But again, my main focus when I bought this home property where me and my family live was to create, you know, not necessarily something that's going to hold deer day after day, but at least give them an opportunity to slow down, feel comfortable while they're here, even though our driveway runs completely down the middle of the property. So there's a lot of activity in and out of here, especially with my wife having in-home daycare. But we have had encounters here in the past with shooter bucks. I've seen plenty in the mornings during the rut cruising through this property in their search for does. 2019, my oldest son and I had great encounters with a 170-inch deer, Boone and Crockett deer for sure. My son had a great encounter with a deer at full draw. Unfortunately, my wife had left, unbeknownst to her, had left to get our middle son from basketball practice. My son was at full draw on this deer, just waiting for him to clear the ridge top that he was coming into our food plot, and my wife come up the driveway and the deal was over. That was an unfortunate incident, but hey, it just kind of showed and proved that our strategy going into that season was working. We had our food plot screened off. We had an excellent food plot screened off with sorghum sudan grass. We had soybeans, winter rye, and a brassica mix that worked out very well that year. It fed a lot of deer. We had probably anywhere from 5 to maybe 12, 11, 11, 12 deer in there in an evening. Our exit and entrance to, our only stand was great. It was concealed everything. We have our neighbors' ag fields just across the line fence to the north, and our food plot is right on our north line fence. And I'm not worried about that because it doesn't get any hunting pressure from the neighbors as of yet, at least in the 4 to 5 years that we've been here, living here and hunting this property. But my goal here in 2021, over the course of the remaining spring and coming summer, is to really work on this property. We've been doing things like planting in some hybrid willow for more effective screening, long-term screening. We've implemented some red pine, spruce, balsam plantings over the course of the last 3 to 4 years. Screening along our driveway with spruce and hybrid willow. We've been adding box elder cuttings as we've gone along, and they're taking off very well and beyond my expectations this spring. We've also done some hinge cutting of some box elder that were currently existing in areas on the property, and those are doing very well, creating some browse at deer level that the deer just did not have on this property. We have a pond in the middle of our property. Now, that water source is a great source of water, but how are we defining that movement into that water, especially during bow season, to offer us that chip shot that we're looking for? Maybe an additional water tank in our food plot on the north edge of our property would be a great addition. Why are we doing that? Because we're defining that movement into that area. We're bringing water and food and a stand location and a scraping opportunity all together. We've also added some chestnuts in the last couple years to the north edge of our food plot that will also help act in some screening along the way and provide that hard mass. And they're doing particularly well, better than I had expected for this area, even through the cold temperatures that we've experienced as of recent. We're also going to be adding some persimmon and pear trees throughout the summer here, the remainder of spring, I should say, to correct myself, and into summer, and into the coming years as well. Again, I'm also going to be reclaiming the eastern portion of our property that is located east of our house. Again, doing some hinge cutting into that 2.5 acre little wood section that's already there and exists, adding a food source down in there, possibly planting some switchgrass to get that thermal cover that we're looking for in a quick way, planting some trees out there in the next coming years as well, and just taking back the property that's ours. Nothing against the Amish family that been pasturing their cattle out there, but it is my property, and that was my intent the day I closed on this property, to create deer habitat here. That's what I do. That's what I am. And 2021 has been a complete game changer in how I conduct my consultations and planning with my clients. I've come to the conclusion, and I think that everybody should, tomorrow's not guaranteed to any of us. It's not granted to any of us. Yeah, I'm a healthy guy, but hey, the good Lord could call me home tonight while I'm in my sleep. And, if I'm in the middle of writing a plan for a client, they're not going to get their plan. And it's been a huge awakening just in my part, too, that writing these plans, I'm a huge procrastinator, and it's been a burden on me. And so now, I've completely changed my game. I kind of followed Jeff Sturgis. He kind of inspired me on that. Leave the client the moment you leave their property with their plan. I still don't have a tablet or anything to draw up the mapping right there and hand it to the client the day I leave, but I try to get home, get on my computer, on my laptop in my office, or my desktop computer in my office, and draw up that plan and try to have it to them in a reasonable amount of time. I'm getting better at it. Again, I'm going to be implementing some technology so the moment I leave a client's property, they have entirely everything. I want to work with clients that are there to learn that day that I'm there. They're there to take notes, and they're there with the knowledge that those notes are their plan at the end of the day. That way, if something should happen to me in my journey home or anything, those clients have their plan. You know, I know a lot of other guys out there in the industry, because I did it myself, that go back home, sit down, take a month to even a year or more to write up a big novel of a plan for these clients. And that's a great tool. It's a great asset for the clients to have. There's no question about it. There's an aspect of professional ability about that. I just know in my own experience that I just can't do that. I have to be able to leave my clients with something at the end of our session because, you know, life is precious. My time is precious. I have 4 children, 2 that are older, 1 that's almost going to be gone. He'll be gone in another year because he'll graduate from high school. I have another son that, you know, he'll be a freshman this year. He's only got a few short years left here at home. But then I have 2 little children as well, you know, a 4-year-old and an almost 3-year-old. And, you know, if I'm in the office every single day, that's time away from them. That's time away from the projects that I have to do across our almost 400 acres of property that we hunt, divided amongst the 3 properties that we have. And the other public land that I'm going to be hunting too this year and in the future as well. I love to get out. I love to mingle with new clients, meet new people, work with my existing clients. You know, I do a lot of hinge cutting for my clients as well. So I'm doing some implementation for my clients with their plans that I created for them, which has been great, building those relationships, those bonds, that trust factor with my clients. You know, it's part of the integrity that I want to give to my clients. You know, it's not just a one and done deal. Now I have clients that call me up to have a consultation and planning session on their property, and that's really the only day that we ever get to meet, you know. And unfortunate for both of us, we could really build a good working relationship to really get their properties to where they want to be over the course of time. But I do have those clients that continually are in contact with me, you know, the next steps, the next phases, you know, and that's important. You know, I meet a lot of different clients over the course of a year, whether they're existing clients or new clients that I bring in. I'm getting busier every single month, and it's hard to remember and stay in contact with these clients. So I encourage them to always stay in contact with me, building that relationship, going over their properties, whether it's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and so on with their property. You know, I highly encourage that. Clients in the past have been left with a plan to get them through that year, but you know, there's only so much I can do. Again, I visit so many different properties, it's hard to remember every one in the back of my head if I'm going to go back home and try to write this big, glorious plan for these guys. No, my clients now, they have their plan at the end of our visit. They get their map within a short period of time. As long as I take the time to do it, but eventually I want my clients to have everything at the end of the day. Everything. From the written part of the plan, from the notes that they take, to the map at the end of the day that I provide, the color-coded map and key that I provide at the end of our session. And then it's just phone calls, you know, annual check-ins, boots on the ground consultations with those clients as well, because, you know, my time is precious and my time is worth money. It really is. So if this is something that you're interested in, you know, there's a lot of value to be shared in the day, and a lot of guys find it well worth their time and money to hire a guy like me or other people in the industry. You know, I've been criticized before of taking other people's ideas and implementing them into my own thing, but guys, that's how we do things. I will never claim to know it all and know all there is to know about white-tailed deer and habitat and hunting strategies and everything. I learn by observing what other people are doing as well. It's called having mentors in this industry that have been there and done that. There's guys that have been in this industry, in the habitat improvement industry, far longer than I have. There's guys like Jeff Sturgis, Jake Ellinger, Randy Vanderveen, Jim Brocker, Jim Moore, just to name a few. There's a lot out there. There's new guys coming in, and I encourage and I love it when new guys, you know, take that leap of faith to get into this industry and follow their passion, follow their heart, not be afraid to fail or anything like that. You know, it's unfortunate when I see a guy that sets forth in a business adventure and he's faced with fear and he folds and gives up and goes back and gives up on his dream. You know, yeah, that's his choice, but, you know, in reality, you're only competition. And if you look at it that you're your only competition, you're going to go a long way in no matter what industry you're in, no matter how saturated the competition may seem to be. And I love helping people get started in whatever business they want. You know, it's all about personal development, personal growth. And I want to see how deep the rabbit hole goes in my life and just see what I can accomplish in my life on my own to have that financial independence and freedom that I'm looking for, that I know I'm not going to get by punching a time clock and punching a time card at a job. I'm so happy and grateful that I took a leap of faith and got into this business, even though I was told that there's too much competition, too many people trying to do this and they're failing. You know, I'm glad I didn't listen to the naysayers and just took that leap of faith on my own. Yeah, I may have put my wife through hell, Becky, I'm sorry, but we got through this and we're growing every day. You've helped me make this a business that I thank God for you every single day. And I wanted to give that shout out to you, Becky. I love you. And I'm very, very grateful that you are in my life. But that's a little about me and what's going on here in the coming months. I look forward to working with you guys in the future. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you have any suggestions on video content that you'd like to see from me, anything that I could change, I have an open mind, guys. I don't ever claim to know it all. I'm improving my business every day, working to bring you the best content that I possibly can. And the only way I can bring you the best content that I possibly can is by having that open mind and learning from each other, because that's how we grow and that's how we make a lasting impact on each other. For now, in this life and forever. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you found this video a little bit inspirational, a little bit educational. Give it a like, share it with your friends. I try to respond to as many comments as I possibly can throughout the day. Again, my time is limited. I'm a very busy guy, but I love creating these videos, and I hope you find something inspirational or educational in these videos. Again, if you have any suggestions or even criticism, I can take criticism. I'm not going to allow it to let me fold, to cause me to fold and close my business down. That's how I grow, how I can improve and be self-aware about myself, and how I can improve my business and how I'm effectively communicating what I'm trying to get out there in my content, and be a better habitat manager, hunting strategist. Thanks for joining me. I love and appreciate all of you guys. Take care. Good luck. Live the dream, because I love the grind.